the meeting. We're going to have it live on YouTube. The second part we'll have to get out of YouTube, and maybe we can get into some exciting updates and business. So without wasting time, let me prepare our live stream and our recording so we can go live. So if you're not talking to us, please mute yourself so we can have a more orderly meeting. Thank you.
That might be the same one you're talking about.
Recording in progress.
I don't see that.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good day, whatever the time it is where you're joining us from. Welcome to the Gym Team webinar. Today is June 18, 2023. We're so excited. I want to first of all give a lot of gratitude to everybody that's here today and to our fantastic welcome team. Let me tell you, that's one of, I have two exciting part of this webinar, the welcome, because it's make all of us feel at home. So Brother Alfred and Sister Mary, and thank you guys for all making us feel at home as a family. By the way you welcome us and make us feel important. I say I thank you. And for all our brand ambassador, global ambassador, affiliate, how you want to identify yourself, thanks for coming every week to spend time with us here on the Gym Team platform. I don't have much to say, but just to say welcome and happy Father's Day. But before we get into the meat of the day, I want to call on one of our only brother we have here. He's a king. He's very gifted and willing to give freely, willing to educate, willing to go through the length for hours, standing, jumping, dancing, never get tired. He used a song blessed by one of our sisters, which you're going to hear from her shortly, Sister Loretto, to make a lot of images that you can see the updates, non-verbal updates. This is the first part of the update. The signature tune is non-verbal, so please keep an eye on it. And without wasting time, I know he was born ready. Dr. Brand Ambassador, King, Brother Barry Clark, come on down.
We are here, we are on passive. ONPASSIVE. ONPASSIVE, the future of internet.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
We are in it to win it. We've already won it. ONPASSIVE is the future of the internet. If you stand by the door, you'll be crushed. So you have to stand clear of the closing door. The train is leaving the station, is heading to station 29 and beyond on the red line in Dubai. So without wasting time, I'm going to pass the baton to our one and only queens in the house. I'm going to call on, I call her my sister, which I call her Mama McCormick. This woman, behind the scenes, she does a lot that you people don't know. She's not mine. She's they, not mine, sorry, wrong words, choice of words. She is they, communication, liaison, I don't know what title, editor-in-chief. Mama McCormick is the editor-in-chief, the communicator director, the program director.
I stay out of the
She's head of that sector on the dream team. So I'm going to call her and she's going to introduce the rest of the queens that she works with to keep this meeting going in the background, because without them, the meeting will not go smoothly. Somebody has to keep it going smoothly. So over to you, Queen, sister, brand ambassador, affiliate, global ambassador, how you identify yourself, Debbie McCormick.
Queen, sister, doctor, patience. You've given me so many titles that I do not deserve. But guess what? Regardless, I want to honor and thank you. But most of all, thank you for that lovely music, the images, the non-verbal communication. And before I proceed, I must start by acknowledging that we have male individuals in this forum and other forums, and precisely the ONPASSIVE family. Happy Father's Day. Even if you do not have a child that is of birth from you, you are an uncle, you are a brother, you are a mentor, you are a teacher, you are a colleague, you are a peer. So any male figure in this forum, we say Happy Father's Day. The reason we say father is because of that gender. It's not because you necessarily have to have a child. You are in somebody's life. There's somebody who calls and say, oh, Brother John, Brother Jeffrey, oh, Brother Harold, Brother Derek, I need this. Brother Amos, I need this. You are a father figure in that person's life. Thank you for being in that person's life. Even if you have an after-school program, you're just picking up the kid from wherever they are, from point A to point B. Happy Father's Day to you. We honor you, we cherish you, we appreciate you. And please continue to do what you do best in those individuals' lives until they become whatever that nature has empowered them to be. Without further ado, I want to say thank you again once more, Sister Dr. P, and thank you, Dr. Derek, for that wonderful, lovely music from our sister, our one and only unique voice, which we always love to listen to. And by the way, in case, sis, you do not know, I listen to you a minimum of 2 or 3 times every day. And I know there's so many people who listen to you and they've reached out to me to ask for your music. So keep doing what you do. So without further ado, I want to say I'm welcoming. I want us to welcome with open hands The voice we just heard, Sister Lorato Shadare Prosperity. So she can share her mind with us today about the awesomeness of this unique day, the Father's Day, in this day of our Lord, June 18th of 2023. Over to you, my darling, lovely sister.
You, my beautiful sister, you're so sweet. You are so sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for just, to everybody here, you're doing such a beautiful work, and just us coming together in love, because that's the most important thing, us coming together in love, in faith. It's such a wonderful thing. So thank you so much, sis. Thank you to everybody that's working at the background, not even the background, who's working, to make all this possible. It's such, all your hard work and everything, all the efforts are just, to reaffirm the love that we have for each other and for the company of ONPASSIVE. So thank you so much. To all the fathers again, happy Father's Day. Sister Debbie already said everything, so I'm not going to repeat that. She already said the most important things about what is the role, the father role, and how, it's important, and it's not only people who gave birth who are fathers. So I'm just, or who, yeah, you know what I mean. My thoughts are all over the place, but yeah. So thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity to talk. Last week I was not here. My heart was just broken. I was in evil traffic. I want to say evil traffic because it was crazy, with my job, we travel different places, and sometimes some places requires us to drive and everything. So I had a corporate gig, and we had to drive somewhere. We were stuck in a traffic. A trip that was supposed to take 3 hours took forever. So I was just grieving. I was like, I can't miss my family. Like the whole trip coming back to where I live was just my heart was so broken. And by the time I got home, I was done. I was wiped out after 2 shows and different things. So it was really tough. So it was really, really tough to miss the meeting last week. But I'm here today, and I'm very happy for this opportunity to talk. And the last time when we spoke about our identity. We spoke about the spirit behind the actions that we take. What is the spirit behind everything that you do? Is it the spirit of fear or the spirit of love? What inspires your actions, right? And I wanted to say to you that, the implications of fear, it means that, if somebody operates in fear, you close the realm of possibilities. Why do I say that? Is because God works in us and through us, and God doesn't work through fear. He works through faith. So immediately when everything that you do is based, or the spirit behind of it, that those decisions or those actions is fear, then you're not working in faith, and then you close the realm of possibilities. You close every realm of possibilities that could flow, the possibilities of everything manifesting into your life. Everything gets blocked if you operate in fear, right? So we have to do everything in our capacity. We have to do everything. As soon as you have that consciousness of fear, or you realize, I'm fearful here, you have to do everything to break that spirit and start now, going back and say, okay, fine, why am I thinking this way? What is this? Let me think of another possibility. Let me think of faith, because fear and faith don't work on the same place. So if you are not, how do I say it? If you are not sure of what spirit is working or is inspiring your actions, just sit back and meditate and try to trace back what is inspiring your actions, right? Because everything that has fear in it, everything that goes with fear then is born out of it. And one of the things is that it blocks possibilities in your life, right? So the spirit of fear, you have to think also, when we talk about mindset, right? There are many things that we think are normal now. And then when you look back, you realize that, all these things that I believed were actually inspired by fear. Fear of failure, fear of different things, or fear of thinking that you can't achieve a certain thing. Or, somebody would say, oh, money don't grow on trees. Okay, but then when you go back and look at why people were saying that, it might look like, oh, it's a fact. It does, of course, it doesn't work on trees or whatever. But then go back and think about, okay, when this person who said it to me and started, programming me with this talk, which spirit was operating behind what they said to me? Was it because they thought, you know what, we're gonna always toil, so we cannot afford this, so money doesn't grow on trees? Where does it come from? Where did it come from, right? You'll find that a child is asking a parent for something. Instead of a parent saying, you know what, let's find a way to afford this, let me see if I can afford it, or whatever, they will just throw a statement like, oh, money doesn't grow on trees, because they're operating from that spirit of lack, spirit of fear, of not being able to achieve or live the life that they want, or to be able to afford the things that they want to afford. So they start saying those statements, right? So you have to evaluate everything and try to figure out what is the spirit that was operating behind that, instead of just accepting it as the norm, or as something that is normal, right? Or something that you should just accept because it's been said, okay, fine, now is the thing that is, the driving force behind every decision that you make or you take as something normal. So you have to really question, why did they say what they said? Because when you go back, you will realize that most of these things are based on fear, right? So, and then you start breaking that, you say, okay, whatever, if there's a thing presented in front of me, I want to afford a certain thing, then what are the possibilities? What will make it happen for me to be able to achieve this? Instead of saying, oh, certain statements that we were programmed with that are inspired by fear. Like money don't grow on trees, or oh, you have to work extra hard and toil until you get on the grave before you enjoy life. All those things that don't, the statements that we are now living with like they're normal, which is, they're not normal. It's most of these things were inspired by fear, right? So we really have to think about that, because then now when we operate in faith, many things start happening. The whole entire creation conspires with you to bring certain possibilities into your reality, right? I will use that example that I know. I will use the example of Christ when he was about to feed the 5,000, right? He operated from faith. He said that, I believe, he said at the end of lifting everything, it's like, I know that my prayers were heard. So this is what I'm asking for. And that manifestation happened. Why? Because he operated from knowing that what he's asking for is possible and it's available. Right? It's one thing to ask for something and thinking that maybe it's not, or to be on that fence. Is it possible? Is it not possible? Is it something that is available for me? Is it something that he operated from faith, knowing that what he's asking for, it's there, it's available. So he operated from that spirit of, I know it's available, I'm asking for it, and I know I will receive it. So ask, you shall receive. Right? So that realm of possibility was there and available for him, because he didn't operate from fear. He didn't start thinking, oh, am I going to feed these people? Oh, what's going to happen? He said what he wanted to say, and how it came. Everything conspired with him to bring that into the possibility and the realm of the possibility that he was operating from. And it manifested. Right? So this is what I want to talk to you about today, to say we really have to watch the spirit operating behind everything that we do. If it's the spirit of fear or spirit of love, where are we operating? Start questioning things, Start questioning things that you believe, all these lies that we believe as normal things in our lives, and we think that they're set in stone. Start shifting your consciousness and start shifting your mindset into everything that we think is normal. Question those things, like, the belief systems that we have in place that we think, these are written on stone, we cannot question these things. Start questioning them. And then when you shake these things off, you will realize, actually this thing was said because of this, or this happened, and then now we're taking it as normal, and it's actually not normal, right? So as soon as you start doing that, then you will actually get the real spirit behind everything. Then you will start now operating in a different realm, right? So the possibilities now will start being available for you when you operate in faith, when you operate in the spirit of love. There's so many possibilities in that realm and in that consciousness and mindset, right? So watch your thoughts, guys, because your thoughts are just not thoughts. They are things that are a force, and they affect the results of your reality. They affect the results of your reality. So everything that you do, your thinking capacities, the way you think affects everything, your results and your manifestations and your reality, right? As soon as you think that you can't, then that will be the truth for you. Right? When you say I cannot, when you say it's not enough, when you say all these things, then those become like self-fulfilling prophecies for yourself. right? And those things also start, you start working in your mind and your belief system and everything, so they become the self-fulfilling prophecies for your life. All right. So for me at this point, like I said, I'm not playing my mindset. I've been working on my mindset, and I've been saying, if then I'm working in the realm of faith, of love, and God is love, and nothing is impossible with God, then I'm working in that consciousness that nothing is impossible for me. Some things might take time, because then I still need to work on certain things that I need to break down in my life, but I'm working in the realm of possibility for myself. Nothing is impossible for me, right? Because then now everything that I do is anchored on the spirit of love, on the spirit of faith, knowing that there's nothing. I believe that nothing shall be impossible for me. Nothing shall be impossible, right? And that is the consciousness that I'm working in. And that consciousness will start attracting everything to make everything possible for me. Whatever that needs to happen to make that reality become for me, then it will start working in that way, right? So I want you to sit in that, guys. It's not something simple that we just mentioned once. It's something that we always have to remind one another to say, we have this great big thing in front of us. We have so many things that are conspiring to work for us now. It's working for us. ONPASSIVE is working for us. ONPASSIVE is here. We are here. We are going to benefit. But now let's work on our mindset, and then let everything now, be in the same energy, in the same wavelength, to support everything that we believe now, which is the realm of possibilities, the realm of love, the realm of growth, the realm of life. So let's just start now making those choices, conscious choices, to work in that, to live in that reality for ourselves, as we are all here. So thank you so much, guys. I'm still going to talk about this so that it can just be something that now we keep on reminding ourselves to think in a specific way. It's a choice, and you have to consciously make that choice every day. You have to consciously make that choice every day. It's not something that you hear for 2 minutes and then we are all hyped up for 2 minutes and then that's it. It's something that we consciously have to choose and watch ourselves every time and question the spirit behind everything that we do. Question our thinking. When we think a certain way, what is behind that? Is it, am I fearful, or am I having faith here? What is it? So let's start questioning those things so that we can now usher all these beautiful things in our lives that will bring power, that will bring that realm of possibilities and power, so we can be the best that we can be and live the lives that we're meant to live, which is lives of greatness, where we affect everything around us in positivity, in goodness, and in love. So thank you so much, guys, for this opportunity to talk. I love you so much. Thank you. We can't hear you, Sister Debbie. I can't hear you. Your mic is off.
Thank you, sis. I was just echoing that. We love you unconditionally, and we thank you. This is the forum where you don't have to apologize, because you don't have any control over public transportation, right? Which is what delayed you. We don't have any control over that, but we have control over our voices, and your voice has been heard. Thank you so much. That's what matters.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sis. We love you equally. And that is just amazing, because I was just listening to you talk about the spirit of fear and how God works through faith and not through fear. Boy, I never thought of those two F words, fear and faith. So if you believe, then you don't need to fear about anything.
Yes.
And which is, what does it resonate with? The unknown.
Yeah.
Just let it be. Thank you so much, sis.
Thank you so much, sis.
Really, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. We love you equally. That's just amazing. I don't know, every week when you share, it's like something from the middle of nowhere. And when you started with just 100 of us, as you were speaking, the last few minutes you were speaking, our number has gone up by 62. Can you imagine that? Thank you. And I'm seeing Brother Jeffrey is in the house, Pastor Paul is in the house, and Jim is in the house. And I know that Dr. Bill told me he will be signing in because he is at the other end of the universe. But once more, happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the house. This is an amazing day, and we're going to move to the next agenda on our schedule for the day. The agenda item we have coming up next is for our presenters to talk about the perception of worth, or we can do two things. Dr. Derek, are you ready to go with the updates first before our presenters, Dr. Derek? All right, so we have presenters that have availed themselves to talk to us about the perception of worth. And we're going to start by calling those who are available to start with, but let us look at it. The perception of worth can be analyzed in several ways: financial, social, physical, mental, and time. I don't know what they will talk about, but for me, I'll look at those different aspects of financial aspects of how I perceive wealth to be. Financial, for me, I will say it's monetary. Social, it's relationships. And physical, it's health. Mental, it's also health. And in addition to health, spiritual. And for time, I would say it's freedom. How do I spend my time? Where do I go to spend my time? But that's for me. But we have speakers who have to share with us what is their perception of worth, not just that personal, but also intertwined with ONPASSIVE. So at this point, I'll say I'm going to call on our one and only Pastor Paul 360 Degree, who is in the house, to share with us his perception of worth in our ONPASSIVE journey. Over to you, Pastor Paul 360 Degree.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Debbie, for the good job, and everyone in the house. Also is the prosperity booster, Sister Lerato, for the wonderful talk. And I want to say good evening from here to everyone in the house. And happy birthday, happy Father's Day to all those that are fathers, including my own self. So today, why this powerful topic today? Because to you to be a father, you must be worthy, whether you like it or not, in as much as it is not only the fathers that have the drive to be worthy, because if I ask every participant here, how many of you want to be worthy today, I believe that even those that are yet to be in the house will start raising their two hands from their houses or from wherever they are. Assuming Sister Loreto was not here, and then I asked that question, she will be raising their hand even while she was driving in wherever she is, because everybody wants to be worthy. But let me be specific to men, to fathers, so that we'll know the reason why we need to be worthy, because without that, you cannot be an effective father, whether you like it or not. There is no shortcut to that. Now, when you talk about worth, there is a lot of the reason why the host or the organizer made the perception is because the views of different people as regarding the concept of worth varied. Why? Because it is a social concept and a social phenomenon. Now, whatever that is social has no specific viewpoint. it has no one uniform or unified perception, because there is a lot of attributes that constitute such a variables, as much as weight. Now, but then let's draw our attention from the past, historically, even from the beginning, from the primitive eras and all of that. We have a lot of, for those of us looking at from our religious perspective, we have heard that, okay, Father Abraham is a wealthy man, followed by Jacob is wealthy, and the host of others. Then coming to our contemporary societies, we have a lot of people, though they might not be wealthy, but some of us, because of our viewpoint, because of our perception, we tend to look at them as being wealthy, because they are rich. But remember, to be rich is not to be wealthy. Now, a lot of people are rich today. They are not wealthy because of what? Because they lack what it takes to be wealthy. But like we used to believe or used to say in sciences, Sister Debbie has mentioned some of the type or what constitutes worthiness, but we have to look at it in proportion. When we talk about proportion, we're looking at how much of each of those constituents that an individual possesses, that before we can look at him or her as a worthy person. But by the way, let's look at, why do I say to be a father? We are celebrating the Father's Day. So if I reference all my presentation to fathers, please, mothers, don't be angry. Ladies, don't be angry. Young men in the house, don't be angry, because it is not my fault. It is our time and it is our day. So now let's look at it now from even the itemization, from the listing that Sister Debbie has talked about. When we talk about it, we look at it from the equilibrium state. Now, when you hear about equilibrium, you are looking at the state of equal balance by a body. Weight is a body standing. Now, how many things that makes person worthy? Like she has itemized, financial. So today, people look at only the first one as the measure of worthiness, which is finance, which is money. But we have seen a lot of people with money, and then they were not able to raise an outstanding family as fathers. The children are wayward. The wives are not what a wife is supposed to be. Children are not what they are not meeting up with the standard of a moral society, but they have the money. Money is not their problem. Then what happened that they are not fitting in into the society as they're supposed to, even not comparable with those that don't have as much as they do. Why? Because they lack other variables. They lack inclusion or inculcation of those other variables that constitute a worthiness. Now, when you look at somebody, if you look at the few persons I've mentioned, you will see that to a reasonable extent, if you analyze critically, you see that they meet up, they possess the rest four. What are those four? I think Queen Debbie has tried to give us expo already. So me, I can only be expatiating on them. That is what she talked about. Social. There are people that are rich financially. That is for number one. But when you look at their social characters and composition, they are as timid as a little child. So for such person cannot be worthy, because when you are rich and nobody around you feel the impact of your richness, you are far from being worthy. Now, let's look at, we are in non-passive family. Let's look at the first two now, and I told that you will be following with practical illustration. We are in a family, unpassive family. What brings about unpassive? Mr. Ash Mufara is the man, is the head. Enough. She was so social enough. She was so relationship minded enough to be able to bring out 1.4 million people without money. He did not give them money. Rather, we are happy even spending the little we have. That is the first tool that we have talked about, because he has what it takes to set up the platform financially. So looking at the two of them, you can see that he is okay. He's okay in those directions. So he's meeting up as we continue. We'll begin to illustrate with practicalities so that we will be able to understand the sense of worthiness, so that we will not be funny to look at somebody because he has a car, somebody because he has built a house, and then we say, no, this man is worthy. No, we should not, so that we will not be misconstruing richness with worthiness. I hope we are hearing. Can you hear me? So, is anybody hearing me clearly?
We can hear you clearly, sir.
Can hear you.
All right. So now, so we are looking at worthiness. This man has the financial, the income, which is money, which is the finances. He has it. He thought of a system that will be able to make other people, to replicate other people having the money. Then he did not stop there. He was able to interpret it clearly to convince others, even when they did not even know him. It's not even interpersonal communication that brought us in, but because of the social natures, because of the social inclusion of him, that he was able to communicate, was able to socialize the idea, and brought all of us in, and more are still coming in. Because of what? Because of those two features, two qualities, two characters, two constants, two variables that make up before we can attribute word to any human being. Now let's look at the next one, which is what? Which is the physical. When we talk about health, at a point our CEO was not feeling fine, and we know how most of us have been casting and binding the Christianity, the Islam, the Jews, and even the traditional religion. Everybody were capashing. Why? Because nobody wants Mr. Ashmufara to be sick, because if he's sick, we will not be getting any update. We will not be following up with those in the kitchen cooking this delicious food that we are smelling, and we are already eating some of them. So that is why we are not. Because so for somebody to be worthy, the person needs to be healthy. The person needs to be physically agile. So if you are not, you cannot be a good father. Now he is a father to all of us now, 1.4. So nobody wants him to be physically unstable. Because if that happens, nothing will go, nothing will move. That is health. So those three variables must be effective, must measure up to the required limit and quantities that will make somebody to be healthy. And of course, if you are working towards being healthy, being worthy, you must put all those things in calculation and measure, prepare yourself, take care of yourself, make sure you are always up to date with the required amount of each of those variables. Now, because of time, let's look at the next one, which is what? Which is the mental. I just talk about finance, which is money, financial form, money. We talk about what? We talk about social relationship. Now, most of us are here. We find it very difficult to relate with people. Today, we have only the relationship we have been able to build in our family is even more. It is going to be more than the finances over at the end of the day. Check it out, because some people will not make so much money that you can compare to the qualities of the relationship they have made already from ONPASSIVE. It depends on your own view, depends on your own perception. But for people like us that understood the qualities, the position of relationship in talents, in what God has put in us to make us prosper in our life outside the natural one, relationship is one of the basic constants of what makes you a person that complements the talent that you have. For your talent to show off, to be fully manifested to the point of achieving your goals in life, relationship is one of the key things. And the ones we have made here, for those of us that know the value,
Hello, hello, hello. Please don't be discouraged. We know that Pastor Paul 360 degree in Abuja.
All right. Sorry for my internet interruption.
Welcome back.
I don't know why it's happening today. For some times now, my internet used to be stable. But today, as if, okay, nevertheless, let's continue. So now, until number 4, which is mental, which is talking about health and spirituality. Sure, if you are not able, because there is nothing that happened in the physical that has not happened in the spiritual. The spiritual control the physical. So if you are not okay mentally, if you are not okay spiritually, there is nothing that can come out of you, because you know, the 3 major things that constitute you is your spirit, soul, and body. So if the spirit is not in order, nothing will work in you. So for any worthy person that you can tempt to be worthy, irrespective of your perception of the concept of worth, the person must be mentally sound. The person must be okay spiritually. When we talk about spirituality, sometimes we should not look at it as the symbol, as spirit as one of the symbol or element of religion. No, that is not where we are talking about. When when we say spiritual, some of us quickly look at it as one of the 4 elements of religion, which is spirituality. No, human being as a person, no matter who you are, irrespective of your religious inclination, you have your own spirit. So if that spirit is not in order, you are far from being worthy, and your journey towards having worth or being worthy will never have been started. Then the last one, which is time, and then in bracket you have freedom. A lot of people do not have freedom, and you know, there was a time we have an acronym for time, which is what? Which is the D stands for Trinity, I stands for investment, M stands for measure, and the E stands for energy. So time as an interval between 2 events, as science defined it. If you go further, it goes beyond the measurement of an interval between 2 events. No, it is also an investment. That is why you hear some people say, I don't have luxury of time. Time is not enough. They mismanage their time. So if you want to be worthy, you should not mismanage your time, because the loss of opportunity can never be regained anywhere. So in being worthy as a father, or for you to be a good father and a complete father in this whole sense of national, or the way God designed it, you must balance each of those 5 variables that makes you worthy. But whether you like it or not, I just told you that if you are not worthy, you cannot be a good father. Don't quote me wrong. When I say you are not worthy, it means that if those 5 variables, if you don't fight to balance them, you cannot be, because okay, is it the finance you want to take out? When you take it, you will know that kaki no be later. In the morning, when your children wake up and they want to go to their various schools, what happens? Transport is there, breakfast is there, what they will use to eat in school is there, school fees is there, and before you know, they'll start sending them out of the school. And if you don't have the finance, what will you do? You will sit down, you will not have the control of the street. Before you know, they will begin to cultivate, to join bad friends, socialize with different peers, and they become a drug addict and so many things, and all of armed robberies and a lot of things, and they will engage fully or partially in different forms of social vices. So now, is it the finance you want to take out? Absolutely no. Is it a relationship? If you remove the relationship, it's like an object in the house, because you can't communicate with your children meaningfully. You can't communicate with your wife. You can't communicate with your in-laws. You can't communicate with your siblings. And without that, they look at you as a robot. It's just like you are of no use. So if you want to be a good father, and those of us that are not fathers in the house, those of you that are mothers, if you have a husband that cannot communicate, that cannot relate, you will wish that you never marry that person. So, in conclusion, wealth is something that everybody must have a drive, everybody must drive towards having them. Some of us, we have a lot of them here already. Socially, we are balanced, time we are balanced, mentally we are balanced, and all the other, but what we need is finance. Okay, fine. Thank God we have ONPASSIVE. With ONPASSIVE, you are going to balance and then you become wealthy, because those other four are already in good measure. You're only waiting for one, which is the income, which is the money, which is apalapala, which is the pepper, which is apple. Any name you call it your own, you're on your own. But of course, the ones that most people call. So thank you very much once again. And mind you that today is our day. It's not only us that's supposed to be wealthy, whether you are young in the house. Even before Queen Debbie now will not block me on the road later and say, Pastor Paul, why are you not talking about wealth as if it's only you men or for father that's supposed to be wealthy? That is not what I am saying. Everybody can be wealthy. Thank you for this opportunity, and God bless all of you. Men in the house, please clap hands for yourself, because you are the one that's supposed to be wealthy now until the next day. Thank you very much, Queen Debbie, for giving me the wonderful time, and God bless all the participants.
Thank you so much, Pastor Paul 360 degree. Thank you so much. You know, regardless of where we are with our challenges, even with the challenges you're going through with the internet connectivity, you're still able to sign back in and finish sharing what you had to share. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. It's so amazing listening to you, regardless of your issues. Oh boy, internet, don't worry, that's a private thing that we're going to find a way to resolve it in the near future. Pastor Paul, we appreciate you and we thank you for joining us today. All right, thank you. That was just an outstanding presentation you made. Please don't go away, stay here and listen to the next presenters. And at this stage, I'm going to call on our brother Jeffrey Morlock, who's always been here with us, and then Dr. Bill will come after that, and Jim will be the one to round up for the day. But please, let's call on Brother Jeffrey Morlock. We know who he is. We've seen him several times solo, and he is the one that inspired me to continue to believe in ONPASSIVE and its journey. Regardless whether it's day or night, whatever he says, I follow it religiously. And I listen to all your whatever you put out there, I listen to it. I don't tell you, but I do. And the last one, I was trying to figure out where I was, and I'm going to call you so you can clarify to me something that I didn't understand. But please, without further ado, let's welcome Brother Jeffrey Morlock to share with us his view about the possession of wealth in our ONPASSIVE journey, and happy Father's Day to you. Brother Jeffrey, the microphone is yours. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so very, very much. Can you guys hear me fine? Am I okay?
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so very much. Debbie, you don't know, you light me up, girl. You just light me up. I really appreciate that. And I think, Mr. McCormick, you are a very lucky man. So life is good right about now. And I'm so grateful to be able to be here. I have had so much going on in the last couple of months. It's absolutely it's mind boggling sometimes. And ONPASSIVE as bad as it sounds, I am so glad that we've had a little bit of a reprieve, because there was so much activity that we got used to with ONPASSIVE that it was like, ooh, man, when is this thing ever going to slow down? But thank you so much. I appreciate the speakers before me. I appreciate Deborah so much that you have invited me here. And it's a great topic. I looked at it and said, wow, the perception of wealth. I mean, that's I loved it because you key in on perception. And I think that is key in life. I think that Loretta had mentioned something like that in some of what she was saying, and things that I could probably tie in some things that I could talk about with her and with what you said, and Pastor Paul as well. So, I mean, that topic, when I think of perception of wealth, or in particular, when I think of wealth, I think of abundance. And abundance, I think we could say that is simply having what we need when we need to have it. Now, that's not probably what a lot of folks are thinking about when they think wealth. They're thinking lots of money in the bank and, hot cars and eating out all the time or something like that. But hopefully we'll get around to something like that. But the whole perception of wealth is what we're trying to encompass here. And we've listened to Mr. Mufara, who has rightly said, in the past, that there is plenty of everything and there is no lack. I mean, he says, that abundance already exists and that all we have to do is claim it. It's there. We're not making anything more. It's kind of like dirt. It's all there. You just got to get a piece of it, right? So, unfortunately, when we think about wealth, when we consider what wealth is, many of us jump straight to the idea of money, a monetary value, right? But in truth, again, Deborah, you had mentioned this, and you had already started talking a little about this, that there are many forms of abundance, or put it another way, there are a lot of ways that abundance can be represented to us in a tangible sense, something that we can touch, taste, and feel. Come to think of it, Deborah, you also mentioned earlier relationships and such, that abundance can be represented in intangible ways as well, and that would be one of them. And when we consider things, abstract things, that we have value, or there is value attached to those things that are maybe outside of ourselves, then we can also attach value and worth and assign a value to those things that aren't as easily, I suppose, looked at. And relationships would certainly be one of those. Anyway, getting back to money, we know that it's appropriately so. It's an acceptable representation of abundance, of wealth. Even though for the most part, when we think about that, we have a perception about money that means that its value that we assign to it has a near liquid, what's the word I'm looking for, characteristic to it. In other words, we think of wealth and we think of abundance, we automatically say, okay, what can I do to get money? And we go to money as our go-to wealth mechanism, simply because money is very, very liquid. We can, as soon as we get it, we can almost immediately take it to the store and buy something. You can take it to your neighbor and give it away. You can, just about as fast as you can give it to somebody, you can receive something in return for it. So that's normally why we start looking at money as a way of gaining wealth. There's a lot more ways to do that than just getting money for us, right? Meaning that, we can trade the money very easily and quickly for what we want, like going to get an ice cream at the ice cream store. But that's just because the perception that we put behind it. Now, unfortunately, the relationship that we have with money usually comes to us at a cost because of that, meaning that because we're so focused on getting money as a mechanism for wealth, that it kind of shuts the door, so to speak, on other forms of abundance that are available. And Deb, you touched on various things of worth earlier. And certainly I agree that there are a lot of forms of value leading to abundance. If somebody gives us a gift, for instance, that is a form of abundance. Communication is a form of abundance. I mean, you got commentators making their lives talking, right, and commenting, using communication. Synchronicities, things of that nature. I think Deborah and Lorato, you probably both shared that a little earlier. And synchronicities are just, these are events coming together in cooperation. This is also a form of abundance. And when we have things that we can trade, that is a form of abundance. So, I mean, there's lots and lots of different ways we can get to abundance or to get to wealth. And when I mentioned a little while earlier, I think intangible forms, one of those that I referred to is imagination, or our ability to create. Now, Deb, you mentioned relationships specifically. Absolutely. And that is a form of abundance. Other forms are such as time and talent and even vocabulary, right? They're all forms of abundance. As a matter of fact, anything that we have for our own use and we're able to provide to someone else is a form of abundance. Of course, there are a lot more than what I've named, but my point is that all of these can assist us in accomplishing what we need to accomplish, or to obtain what we need to obtain without doing something that we thought perhaps we needed to, namely going after a fistful of dollars, right? Getting more money. Now, usually, everything that we do is aimed at getting money, because a lot of times, most of the time, most of us, when we think about what is wealth, it's money, because it's the most liquid. It's so easy to get rid of it once we get it, right? And we certainly associate that with wealth, just for that reason. Now, if you'll let me change gears for just a moment, I want to talk about how we can achieve the abundance that we'd like to have. And again, I'm going to fall back on you because you started to get into this, Lorato, a little bit ago. And I think the best way, and by best, I mean perhaps the easiest, the way that there's the least physical effort on our part, is to simply follow our passions. Now, when we follow our passions, in other words, when we do what truly jazzes us up, those are my words, you know, I get jazzed up with things, right? When we do things, or we follow ideas and things that really energize us and make us feel good when we do them, then the universe or source or God is going to line up. I mean, you know, like Pastor Paul was saying here, we're all, the men here anyway, are fathers. We know that God is a good father and he gives us good things, and he wants to do that. He wants to do it for all his children. So he lines up these synchronistic events that are going to lead us to an opportunity for obtaining and doing whatever it is that we need to do. And in doing this, now, it wouldn't necessarily lead to getting money, perhaps, but rather it could bring the easiest form of abundance to us that we could then use at will, you know, for whatever we want or whatever end that we're hoping to achieve. A real simple example of this, when synchronicity brought me an event the other week that allowed me, I got a yard sale or something, I got 2 brand new cans of paint for $2, right? Now, synchronicity last week also brought me my brother Bob, who needed some paint, and he traded me $2 worth of paint for 2 dozen farm fresh chicken eggs and a big head of cabbage. So I know that's kind of a small time example, but it just shows where I used $2, and in a trade, I ended up with about $10 worth of groceries. And that, to me, is an example of this. It's an example of how we can do a lot of things without involving money. You know, I mean, the whole point, though, is that I was open to it, and I wasn't restricting how things came to me by being rigid in my mindset. We talked about, Pastor Paul, you were talking about mindset. You know, how if we have only one idea of how to get something, then that can effectively kind of shut down other ways of getting abundance. And if we're open to any way of getting it and let all avenues flow, then 100% of what we need is going to come to us. So if we have a continual insistence at money only, then that's going to effectively block a lot of the other doors to receiving other legitimate forms of abundance. And let me tell you, a large scale, real world example. There was a young lady, and you could probably, this is how she's doing her life. It's absolutely amazing. She's a photographer and a very good one, took gorgeous pictures. Well, she had a dream of flying around the world and taking wonderful pictures of all the sacred sites, Egypt and Israel and just all over, all the tourist sites. But she didn't have any kind of money to be able to do that. She wouldn't be able to put herself up in hotels in those places, and much less fly there and eat there and just, have a good time with it. What she did though was she went to the airlines because, she didn't get in despair. She kept very positive at all. And she went to the airline, and because she never gave up on the idea, she said, hey, look, let me show you my pictures. And if you will send me to these places where you fly, I'll take pictures and I will give them to you, and you can use them for your brochures to lure, if you will, if I could use that word, clients and flyers to use your airline to come to these places. And the airlines, not only did they love it and think it was a brilliant idea, but they actually flew her everywhere all the time, totally free, first class, put her up in first class accommodations, and she ate the best and lived like a queen and earned a paycheck doing what she loved. So that's what I'm getting at, and that's what we all want. And she understood, as many of us do, that in order for us to receive something, we have to give something. There's a give and a take. And so she said, well, if you fly me and do that, I'll return these to you. So it was all pretty good. And she ended up in a very good place for all of that. So, if we keep an open mind and just be amenable to what is available to us, and maybe even the unexpected, life will be pretty good, because it's going to work out the best for us. Unfortunately, a lot of times our ego, but for the grace of God, there go I, right? Our ego will get in the way, and it'll want to control things, and it does not want us to, dare I say, surrender to what could possibly be the will of God in our lives, so that he could provide everything that we want to us. But at any rate, it's all going to come to us in that way if we're open to it. So that's kind of my whole take on abundance. But now what I'd like to do, and I don't want to scare anybody, but I want to take a moment and just bring ONPASSIVE into the picture and say, well, how does ONPASSIVE fit in with abundance and with wealth and that sort of thing? So let me start by saying that we live in such an exciting time. Oh my goodness, we have so many things that a lot of people, they simply don't know. They really don't know what's going on in the world globally. They have no idea what is going on behind the scenes. But I'm telling you, in the U.S. in particular, we're going to have a lot of members of Congress and representatives vacating their seats, and the whole system's going to be turned topsy-turvy. There's going to be leaders in the rest of the world across the globe that are going to be switching positions and vacating seats. And there's a lot of changes coming down the global banking system. A large part of it's going to fail with a new system coming into place. Your big tech giants, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, let me tell you, they are in for a world of hurt coming up, and they're going to be dismantled systematically. Now, I'm saying all that not to get anybody upset, and certainly don't fear. God has got this so in control. It's like watching a movie. You can read the script and you know what's happening, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's a beautiful time to be alive. But in a couple of years, we're not going to recognize the world as we know it now. Now, think about ONPASSIVE. Think about what we've been saying about ONPASSIVE for the last 2-3 years, how big it is, how it is the correction to the corruption. But even more than that, let's take a look at how Mr. Mufara and these folks have put this together so that we now have, excuse me, not only a very big and thorough digital ecosystem that is going to end up having probably, excuse me, one moment. I'm going to sip of tea here. Thank you for that. We're going to probably have 3-4 dozen. Every one of those are all tied to each other and within the digital ecosystem. It's all tied to a financial system. It's all tied to the ONPASSIVE overall umbrella system, which is all tied to the factories that they're coming out with the physical products they're coming out with the data systems, with the innovation labs, with the global. You see where I'm going with this, right? Everything that we've got and everything that has been put into place, everything that Mr. Mufara has talked about, perhaps it has not rolled out as quickly as some of us would like, but I am grateful that is rolling out in a methodical manner, and they're asking all the right questions and they're taking the right things into consideration, because every bit of this is moving along with the rest of the global things that are happening. You know, ONPASSIVE won't be early, but neither will it be late. It's going to be right on time, and that's going to be according to God's timing, just like it is with the rest of the world. So you're in a very, very good place. Think about what jazzes you up. Think about what you're excited about doing. And then you take that excitement and you match it to anything you want to within ONPASSIVE, because that's going to be your ticket. That's going to be your opportunity to take what you love to do and earn a living and to help others doing it. So that's the beauty of where we are right now. Not to mention this absolutely beautiful family here that you brought together, Deborah. I'm so amazed at you sometimes, and I just love you guys so much, and I'm just grateful. So thank you. I'm going to stop talking, and I just hope you enjoyed that. I hope it made sense.
Thank you so much, Brother Jeffrey. That is just an amazing sharing that you had with us tonight. You know, I just realized from you that I had forgotten about trade by barter when you're talking about your garage sale. I did not know that still exists. From your garage sale, that what you just did is trade by barter. You take what I don't need and you give me what I need, regardless of the price tag on it. That's life.
And we've got communities, we've got cultures that operate on that. You know, when you look at our financial system, we're going to get a new one in place. Okay, I mean, look at the American fiat dollar. It's not worth the money it's printed on. I mean, there is nothing backing that up. It used to be the petrodollar. No, that stopped. It's gone. You're going to see the dollar disappear as a global standard. And I'm not trying to scare anybody, because I'm telling you, there is no need to fear. There is no need to fear. Don't even think about that. But when you think about our perception is there's value, and that's the only value in it. It's kind of paradoxical if you look at it. It's like, you know, getting back to the yard sale and the garage sale, there are whole communities that they live on the barter system. They've got no need for cash. And they're very wealthy.
Thank you so much, Brother Jeffrey. Thank you. I know we can go on. I have to make sure that you come back and we continue this conversation on another day when it's just you solo, so you can share all the perspectives you have, not just about wealth, but other aspects of ONPASSIVE and life as a whole, because that's why we're here, right?
and that would be an absolute blessing. You guys are a blessing. I'm listening to you and just loving you guys, and I've got the afternoon here with my family, and you're right. It's just we're in such a great time right now, and on passive, I'm telling you, it may not be late, but it may not be early, but it ain't gonna be late. We're in good place.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Jeffrey. All right. Thank you all so much for your patience and understanding and listening. I hope you got something from what Brother Jeffrey just shared with us, and we're going to hear from him again. But at this stage, I'm going to call Dr. Bill. Dr. Bill Williams is in Italy. If you recall that a couple late last year, we were talking about the conference of dentists, 100 of them who were supposed to be having a gathering this summer in Italy. And he and Dr. Shah had a presentation with us, and they talked about that. So Dr. Bill is currently there. You can see from his background, he's in a place where none of us are. And he had some awards because I happen to have been privy to some of the images that he shared with some of the platforms where we might or might not be in. So he's here to share with us not only his perspective about wealth, but also his experience from that amazing forum where he was with Dr. Shah and the rest of the dentists and medical experts in Italy. So Dr. Bill, we welcome you with open arms, and please, you can go ahead and share with us what you have based on the previous speakers and the topic for the day.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Dr. Derek. So good to follow my friend Jeffrey Morlock. Always learn from him. Some of his wisdom rubs off on me and it makes me a better person. And Pastor Paul, I absolutely enjoyed hearing that Father's Day sermon. And today, happy Father's Day to all of you out there. I was fortunate that my two sons both were able to reach me here in Italy on the phone. And we had a Father's Day conversation between my sons back in the USA. Of course, I'm on vacation, first real vacation since COVID. And my wife and I just decided to combine that trip with the doctors meeting here in Italy. We went to Sardinia, a beautiful island off the coast of Italy. And we spent 4 days there with the doctors, and we had presentations. We had awards, and they did give 100 different doctors a Lifetime Achievement Award for their work in their various fields of endeavor. Most of these were dentists because that was the first time they have given that award. But of course, you know, this award is open in future years to medical doctors, chiropractors, pharmacists, osteopaths, many types of doctors. So we had a great time, a very relaxing time, a rejuvenation. And when you talk about the topic of wealth, you know, to me, wealth is what you value, having a lot of what you value. And that's kind of the point of this particular trip is I value free time and travel more than just about anything. I would rather see the world than accumulate a lot of money. And so I made a decision a long time ago that I would travel from the beginning and never stop. I would see the world and meet the people, taste the food, see the sights, and I would enjoy wealth by being among all the peoples of the world. And so, again, wealth is what you value and have a lot of. That means you're wealthy. And so some people will collect money in a bank. Some people will collect memories. Some people will collect spiritual stamps in their book, and they will do many things to bless people. So right now I'm standing in the Grand Hotel Convento de Amalfi on the Amalfi Coast. And this particular hotel that I'm staying in was a convent and had monks and nuns that stayed here over the centuries in Italy. you can see down below, they don't choose a shabby place, do they? They have a nice place. And this place has been steeped in history. And the state of Campania in Italy is one of the most beautiful sites in the world because the cities are hugging the coast, built on cliffs. You've heard of the famous cities of Sorrento, Positano, Murano, and of course Amalfi. And so these are south of Napoli. These places are, to me, they're steeped in history because one civilization has built itself on top of another civilization, has built itself on top of another civilization, because Italy is such a magnificent country that's lived so many lives, so many generations, so many millennia in world history. And so, you know, Neil Armstrong was wealthy. When he stepped on the moon, he said, one small step for man, but one giant leap for mankind. He was wealthy in fame. You know, he had all the fame in the world, being the first man to step foot on the moon. And so his wealth would be categorized as something that no one else could ever achieve the same degree of wealth, being the first man. His fame would never be overtaken by any other space traveler. However, there's lots of fame that comes from doing different things. And a lot of people think, oh, doctors are rich. They have a lot of money. They live an extravagant life. But I was a consultant for many doctors, and I helped a lot of them get out of debt because they were broke. There were a lot of doctors who were just barely making it because they were basically spending more than they were making. And so wealth is fleeting. Wealth is something that is not consistent. Just because you have a position doesn't mean you're going to be wealthy. You can be wealthy and be a farmer. You can be wealthy and be a miner. You can be wealthy and be a fisherman. It's not about the money always. Sometimes it's about the dignity of your work. It's sometimes about the experience of life that you have. You build a life around a career, a job. And the wealthy people of the world are those who enjoy life, in my mind. And so the enjoyment of life is wealth to me. Having good times with friends, having a good experience at a new restaurant, having the chance to ride in a boat across the ocean looking up at the cliffs of Amalfi, that's a good time. When I tour here and I see different places, I think about the people who came before me. I think about the people who were the builders of these wonderful mansions on the cliffs. And I realized that they're dead and gone. You know, their wealth was fleeting. And that's kind of the way it is for all of us. We're all just a tiny speck on the earth. And by the time our life is up, you know, the whole thing is, as Brandon Bouchard always said, there's really going to be three questions you're going to ask. Did you live? Did you love? Did you enjoy your life? Did you make a difference in the world? And so I think, as Jeffrey said, we are poised, because we're a part of ONPASSIVE, we're poised to be able to change the calculus of our life in a way that maybe a lot of people never have the opportunity to do. We can change the way we look at things, the way we operate, and the way we can benefit other people. So our wealth is in our potential. What we can do now is potentially much better than what we could have done in the past. So I just want to leave that one word with you, that we want to be a great civilization. We don't want to bring our world down to a lower level. We want to raise our world up to a higher level by the time we're all said and done. And the words that we want to put on our tombstone, on our dash, between the day we're born and the day we die, we want that dash to be something that is glorious and luminous, and not something that is unmemorable. So make memories, enjoy your life, and do something good for somebody, and I think you'll be an ONPASSIVE. It's good to be here with your dream team. Thank you so much for inviting me today. Back to you, Debbie.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bill. I did not know you were going to pull this off. I don't know how Sheila gave you the last, how Sheila got to give you the chance to be here with us. Thank her on our behalf and tell her next time we call. Oh, there she is. Hi, Sheila. Thank you so much for being able to be here. Hi.
Yeah, she can't hear you because I'm listening on my earbuds, but I want you to see that I did bring her with me, and she is having a good time.
Yeah. Hi, Sheila. Thank you. You cannot hear me. We want to thank you for letting him speak with us tonight, because he said he was going to be there with you, and I saw the photos and everything that he shared with the Passion team, and we're so honored that you let him step out of the room to be with us. We appreciate it, and congratulations.
You can talk to hear you.
Well, thank you.
Well,
it's all good to be with you guys. Thank you for having us over, and enjoy your day. This is almost our nighttime. I'm on African time.
It's 8:30.
European time. I'm definitely in a different zone than normal.
Well, yeah, it's 9:26 p.m. my time. I'm in the Comoros Islands. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
But we're all world travelers. We're all joined together by one common bond. So.
Absolutely.
We're all founders in the wonderful.
Thank you. You know, with ONPASSIVE and whatever our CEO has promised us, we have so much. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Thank you, Sheila. We look forward to having you again, Dr. Bill. Thank you. We appreciate you, and I can see that you have so much, money, spiritual objects, and what. You have so much to share with us. We're going to bring you back on this topic. Not today, but next time. Enjoy your time.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Enjoy your time in Italy. All right.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bill. Congratulations for all the awards you had. I saw some of them.
Thank you so much.
You appreciate it. We very much appreciate you. All right. Last but not the least, I'm going to introduce our next speaker, who is right here next to me. And I hope you don't fall asleep. I don't know. I know it's nighttime for me, but I don't know about any other place besides Dr. Bill.
Can I have the honor to introduce our next speaker, if you don't mind?
Please. No, you go ahead, Sister P.
Sorry, guys, but before I introduce our next speaker, I want to say thank you all, our fathers, Dr. B, Brother Jeffrey, Pastor 4360, for taking the time off today on Father Day to come and share with us on the Dream Team. We are on the Dream Team. We're not taking this lightly. We really appreciate you. We appreciate all the support you've been doing over the years on this platform, your knowledge that you've shared with us, your enthusiasm, your mindset. We really, really don't take it for granted. And we're looking forward to see you guys again, solo or together. We just want to say thank you for coming. But the next speaker is my own, I call him my brother-in-law. Maybe some of you don't know. He is the better half of our director of communication. I want to thank him. Honestly, I want to thank Jim for letting Deborah, even when they're in the Comoros Island, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., Deborah will have to answer a phone call to wake up and set up his system to join us on this platform. Jim, thank you for being selfless and letting us share Deborah. Even when you were out of the time zone, as Dr. B said, this night, they should get up at 4 a.m. to join us because of your support. So I'll let Mama McCormick to add a bit, but that is Jim, is the better half of our sister, Mama McCormick, as a caller, our director in communication and chief editorial minister. He's the one that brings all these great speakers, Dr. B, Brother Jeffrey, Brother Michael. She communicates because we don't want everybody to be flogging all of you communication. So she is the one. She's our connection. And Jim let her do all that. So I'll let you to add Mama McCormick, but I wanted to say thank you, Jim. We really appreciate that you let us share your wife with you. Thank you. And today we appreciate Sheila. They're on vacation, for letting her share her husband with us today. Also for Jeffrey's family and wife for letting us share Jeffrey with us today. Thank you. And Pastor Paul, your family as well. Since today's family Mother's Day. Sister Mama McCormick, you can add a little before our last speaker speaks.
Thank you, Sister Dr. P. Not much to add because I think our all the global ambassadors are anxious to hear what all the speakers had, so I'm not going to go with any further introductions. We appreciate you, and thanks again to all the fathers, and happy Father's Day. So I'm just going to pass it over to our next speaker.
Good evening, everybody. It's very difficult to follow three dynamic speakers like we just heard, so I'll be fairly brief because many of the points that I think I was going to make have already been made, and there's no reason to rehash them. But when I think about perception of wealth, and I look back at my own life, I'm 2 months away from my 70th birthday. My perception of wealth and my concept of it has changed quite a bit from the time I was in my 20s till the time that this gray hair started appearing all over my head. Obviously, as a younger man, wealth tends to focus around monetary and material things. But as you grow in life, and as I went from my 20s to my 30s and beyond, and I met my life's partner, Queen Debbie, wealth became, how do I provide? If I'm able to provide for a family, am I able to be a good father and provide for children if they come? And thankfully they did for us. So wealth to me was being able to put food on the table, pay school fees, and get my children educated as I moved into my middle age. And then as I got older, the material things became even less important. And I think Bill mentioned travel, and for some people that's it. I have a quote that I always love. It's by someone named Robert Kiyosaki. And it says, if you want to be rich, simply serve more people. And I think there's a lot of truth in that. And one thing that amazes me, and many people have heard this, is there are studies that people talk to people that are very close to death in life, mostly from old age, and ask them, if you could do anything different, what would it be? And almost without exception, it's, I would have traveled more. I would have been a better father or been a better family member. I would have been taking more vacations, whatever. Rarely, if ever, does anyone ever say, I wish I would have made more money. It never comes down to that, especially when you're looking back on your life and you understand that you're very close to the end of it. So that's the biggest lesson that I feel right here. And I'll tie this into ONPASSIVE. And as I said, I'm going to be brief. ONPASSIVE started out for my wife here as nothing more than a financial investment. It was an opportunity to put money in, and hopefully at some point that money was going to come back, and then additional money as well. The wealth in this concept right now are you. The wealth in this investment has paid back 10 times already what she's put into it by the friends, the deep friendships and the meaningful friendships that she has. And all of you share with each other. There's no dollar value you could ever put on that. And if ONPASSIVE, when it does become successful in the financial way that we all know it will be, that'll be nothing more than a bonus. Because the real wealth in this organization, this concept right now, are the 182 people that I'm looking at right now, and many, many, many more beyond that. So thank you very much for your time. I promise to be brief. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep the faith. This is going to work, and the money, the wealth that's come back already in this organization is immeasurable. So thank you all for that, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you for the time to say a few words.
Wow. All right. I knew I was going to be brief, but okay. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry. I forgot that he's sitting next to me.
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you all. We truly appreciate you. So that was our last speaker from the schedule we had on our agenda. And what was it we had to talk about today was our perception of wealth. And we called on 4 speakers who shared that with us. And I had a brief summary of it, and I'm going to pass it over to Sister Patience. You had something to talk before we move to the next agenda item, Sister P.
Yes, and thank you. We had heard from 4 great speakers. My brother, Jim McCormick, man with few impactful words. His words are few but very impactful, right? Everything in it. We saw the 4 different angles of the speakers, but they had all commonality. What's the word now?
Commonality.
Exactly. And what were they? Spiritual, financial, social, and general wellness, and relationship. Those are the few that I had. All 4 of them came to that. That financial, like money, is liquid and is not only the key of wealth. And what we define as riches are not wealth. Wealth is the total well-being of a human being, the holistic, total well-being in any angle. That is what they say wealth. And back where I come from in Cameroon, they said somebody's wealth is the people around him. I think every Cameroonian or Africans will attest to what I'm just saying. We measure your wealth by your people, by your community, by the people that relate to you, by the people that is impacted. So I think Brother Jeffrey said it. You can be a farmer, and I think Dr. B said it, and you're wealthy. Because you can be that farmer that share your one crop with the community. You're wealthy because you impacted somebody. So that's the communality I gathered. So we have heard it. So and all this is, why do we share this topic? It is very important. As our CEO, Mr. Ash Mopara, said this one, the financial part is a done deal. He has done that. It's just a matter of time. But we have to physically, mentally, emotionally, orderly ready when this financial hit our door. Because we've seen in the past, a lot of people have won millions in the lottery because they did not have the holistic, the complete mindset of what wealth means. They blew it up. Yes, as we've heard my brother Jim said, how wealth meant for him as he's getting older. As you're getting older, you're being wise. I cannot believe that he said he's going to be 70. He looks like a 30-year-old. Health too is wealth. So it is a holistic thing to be wealthy. It's not just the dollar in the account. I think somebody shared we lost one star here in America with how many million in his bank account. What's that for? What to keep millions of dollars in your account? Look at it. What is that doing for you? Well, you can impact life and make yourself wealthy. Giving is wealth. So I will not rabbit, but that's what I've heard. And my sister with the voice, Lerato Shadere, wow. Prosperity, thanks for that word. Because sometimes fear really impairs us to be wealthy. Fear actually sometimes makes us not to be wealthy because we are afraid. The fear of doing something can hinder us to actually develop the wealth mindset that we really need. So I will thank you. And then if the update team, I think the update thing, what you have is not for live stream. We can stop sharing live stream. And if anybody have a question that you want to ask our speakers, maybe we can take a few of those now, right, Mama McCormick? What do you think? So if you have any question or you want to share the topic that our speaker have said, please raise your physical hand or write on the chat that you want to share so you can be called and you share. This is a very important topic from very important people in our life, our fathers, our kings that have shared with us today. Yes, and I know King Derek says when it was Mother Day, the men presented. When it was Father Day, the men presented.
The men presented.
That's what women are jewel. You have to you have to treat them like a rose flower. So we appreciate you all, our men, our fathers, our king, and our brothers for being there for us. Thank you. Over to you, Queen Debbie.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sister Dr. P. We appreciate the summary of everything that has just transpired from our mindset speaker, Sister Lerato Shadare Prosperity, to our four fathers and kings. That is an amazing summary of what they shared with us. And you're absolutely right. We have to do what we have to do, right? No excuses. We're just appreciating one another's availability for today. So at this point, if there are any questions for the speakers, please, this is the right time to raise your hand and it will be answered. If there are no questions, we're going to move to the next segment, which will be updates. Okay. Sister Queen Catherine FP. Dr. Benny and everyone else is around. Okay.
Yes, I would like to know how I navigate from being unpassive to how to get to unpassive.
All right, Queen Catherine, you have two devices. If you can mute one, that would be great because one is echoing on the other. That's number one. Number two, this is something that we can answer during general questions and discussions. So is it possible for you to hold on to your question until we get to general questions and discussions, please?
Okay. Okay.
And then in the interim, find a way to mute one of your devices so we can hear you from one instead of both. Thank you so much. All right. At this stage, I'll just say, Sister P, you might